A very good win, a very difficult one because we had to defend a lot, we had to suffer a lot. They had a lot of ball possession, but especially the second half, I liked the way we defended even more than the first half, because in the first half I constantly felt that they could score without them having big chances, but they were constantly on it.
You're on top and you concede the first goal, and then you have another spell on top and you concede another goal. Is it hard for the players to take that?
Of course it is, it happened many times, so the first goal could avoid the corner, but always we try to play, but I know which opponent we play, so second half they were 11 players in the box, so, and I didn't see many times Liverpool can do that, and it's because we have done really well, because they don't want to do that.
It feels a big win. Coming here is never easy. I don't think we've got a great record here since most of us have been here. So yeah, it's so important to win these games, and especially when people drop points round about you, then you have to capitalise on it.
Mo Salah, I think we're running out of things to say generally, aren't we?
Yeah, can't be bothered talking about him, to be honest. Look, he's been unbelievable, and yeah, look, he gets a goal, another assist, but I thought his work rate going back the way was unbelievable today, and he's on a different world just now, and he's playing out of his skin, and we're very happy to have him, that's for sure.
Inside, what are your feelings? Are you trying to keep some sort of excitement contained?
No, I'm mostly happy because you win at the Etihad, and that's not what happens a lot. Although it was my first time, but I think in general, not many teams win here, not many managers win here. A lot of challenges ahead of us, but it's a good position to be in.
That is the first Liverpool team to beat a Pep Guardiola Manchester City side in the Premier League, the Etihad. That's some feat.
Yeah, and it was hard to achieve it because we had to suffer a lot, we had to defend a lot. But in the end, I felt in the first half they were close to scoring without creating big chances, but it constantly felt as if they could create any moment. That feeling I didn't have the second half. I think there we controlled it a bit more by defending, because they were, of course, the dominant team that had most ball possession.
Mo Salah, 30 goals now for the season. I think it's 21 assists. Is there any player in the world playing as well as he is right now?
That's difficult for me to judge because I don't see every single game and I don't follow every single club. But I do know that I'm really happy with the performances he brings in. Again today, normally we have a lot of ball possession. We bring him in a lot of promising positions. Today, he didn't have the ball a lot, but every time we brought the ball towards him, he was a big threat. But it wasn't only involved in both goals. I think he was involved in a few other moments where we were in the counter-attack threat as well.
Arne, the big one, Jason McAteer in our studio today. I know he's quite fond of Liverpool, but he's calling it. He said, today's the day you've clinched the title. I think Pep pretty much said something similar. Heard the Liverpool fans singing. With 7 of your remaining 11 at home, this feels pretty close now.
We know that, I know at least, that a week ago people told me that if you only win Wolves with 2-1, that's not a very good thing. And then 3 days later I got questions about us having a dip because we had a draw at Villa Park, which in my opinion was a very good result. But for people like, they are not at it at the moment. And now all of a sudden it's completely the opposite. That's not who I am. I already thought that Villa was a good draw and Wolves was a good win. As I think this is a good win, but I also know how much and how hard we had to work against Wolves, against Villa, and today to get these results. So with 11 to go, it's far too easy to talk like some people do, because we know how much work we have to put in to get the results.
We won't put the words into your mouth then. Thank you very much.
You may, but
lots of challenges ahead of them. It's a good position to be in. The fans are chanting, we're going to win the league and now you're going to believe us. Do you believe them?
Absolutely. Have done since about Christmas, I believe.
Is it done for you?
Yeah, it is. I don't see how Arsenal are going to close the gap without a striker. City are in a bit of disarray. Forest, who we're going to get onto, are falling away. It just seems like all the stars have aligned and it's all there for Liverpool. This man knows a lot better than anyone and what it's like to see it through to win a Premier League title. But I just think there's no way that these are going to lose. They've lost 1 game all season, chappers. How are they going to go and lose 4 and allow Arsenal to go and get over the line? I just can't see it.
It must be very... And you will have been in teams and squads that have had large leads as well. It would only be human nature to think, we've done it.
Yeah, look, that's where you're going to have to balance the squad. You need that excitement, you need that enthusiasm, you need the young players who haven't experienced it or thinking, we're pretty much done here. And then you also need Virgil van Dijk, you need Andy Robertson, you need Alisson saying, just relax, boys. A lot of work to be done, a lot of wins to be had. Got to chase it. We've got to work hard in training. Arne Slot's not going to let anything slide. If they're going to keep continuing to play this way through the season, he knows that they'll do it. But it's not easy to play at that level.
But the way they played today, it felt like they dominated every aspect.
100%. They felt so comfortable all over the pitch. Right through the way. This is at the Etihad. This is playing out against Manchester City. Trent's been backed into a corner here. He manages to wrap it into the midfield. Szoboszlai able to turn, use the whole Etihad pitch. Robertson charging into Diaz. Now look, he knows he's not got the numbers that he wants, and Liverpool know that they want to attack down that right-hand side. Can you get it into Salah, who's so threatening? And that's Trent Alexander-Arnold. We've tailed his run there, 80 yards of the pitch. Second clip, we're facing Salah. What do you want to do if you're Liverpool Football Club? You want to get Salah 1v1. Everyone knows it. Man City know it. Gvardiol knows it. Alexander-Arnold's able to get his head up, put it into the space, and get him into that position that he wants to be. Edge of that box, on his left foot. Is he going to shoot? No, he's got runners. He's got Jones and he's got Szoboszlai. And this is such a clinical finish through bodies to put Liverpool 2-0 up and in the position that they can now do what they want to do. They want to build that red wall in front of Manchester City. As Pep Guardiola alluded to, his team had plenty of possession. They were just looking, can they unpick this Liverpool defence? Robertson, great homework, said to Savinho, get yourself on that right foot, see what you can do, you're not going to do anything. And here we see the numbers that they've got back.
There's your red wall.
There's that red wall that we saw was so dominant throughout the game. Manchester City, they just kept, especially the first half, coming, and it just eventually fizzles out. And this sums it up for me at the end of the first half. Kevin De Bruyne, how many times have we seen him in this position for Manchester City? Look up at the Etihad. He's got options we didn't even know existed. But here he looks up and he just sees Phil Foden. And a speculative effort, and that's me being friendly from 30 yards left foot. That's how the first half ended, with City 2-0 down. They got a little bit deeper in the second half because they've got the lead. Every time there was a glimmer, every time they thought we've got past one, it's like Liverpool had 2-3 extra players getting in the face of Manchester City players, forcing them back. Sharpness, even here, Mamouche, he's got that wall in front of him. He still manages to chop and throw one of the Liverpool defenders off. But it's going to take some finish to get through that from there. The absolute numbers that they have and the commitment they have. And this is why they were able to defend, because they know they're always going to get chances, and they slice through City here. And for all the possession and all the chances and all the, the territory that City had, with 3 or 4 passes, Liverpool created the best chance of the second half, getting out to their main man, Mo Salah. A job well done. And
actually, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, we all know, we say it so often on this programme, possession isn't going to win you a match on its own. Mm-hmm. And despite having only 34% of possession, as Joe just highlighted, every time they got the ball, they were so smooth with it, weren't they?
Yeah, and this is why I don't like stats, because you've got to watch the game, you've got to see it.
We got rid of it for you.
No problem, that's what we do. That's why you're so good at it. But when you look at the stats, you go, oh, Man City must have dominated the game. Yes, with the ball, they played a lot of nice stuff, but without the ball, Liverpool were set there saying, no problem, we're going to go into it in a minute with Doku. But every time, they were so predictable, this Man City team. And then when you've got the quality that Liverpool have, you're so comfortable.
We'll do the Doku then, because... Yeah. We talk about tactics and systems and so on and so forth, but actually how you react in-game is where you're going to win or lose most of the time. Yeah, and this is something that we noticed while watching the game. Obviously, Doku was clearly highlighted trying to get at Trent Alexander-Arnold. We know Trent's fantastic going forward, but defensively, questionable. And look, this is the first minute of the game. Just first time he gets at him, and then look, he's got Liverpool all over the place where they don't want to be. Big distances between the two centre-backs. Marmoush now can run into those spaces, and this is where Liverpool don't want Man City getting at, because it's last-ditch emergency defending. And tenors are going up and everyone's panicking. And again, look, it's highlighted now 1v1. Doku 19 times dribbling at attempts in a game, the most in Premier League game this season by any one individual. And as you see, look, Liverpool now, this is where they start to make little adjustments in the game. Look, as that ball goes out, just keep your eye grabber back here. Just say to Konate, you stay inside, I'll go double up. Look, little point. Konate now doesn't have to go out where he was going to go. He stops, they go, give it to Trent. Now he's got 2 bodies. We know he's going to have to go around us. We know he's quick. But as he puts that ball in, Konate is able to be in that position. Otherwise, Phil Foden would have had a nice little tap in there at the near post. And as you can see, he starts to develop again. He does really well here, Doku. But I just want you to keep an eye on Van Dijk, and I spotted this in the game.
This is a Sunday walk for Virgil van Dijk here. No, we're looking around, no one in the box. This is at the Etihad, by the way. And he's just walking. Well done, lads. Don't worry, we're so comfortable. And every single time, they just put bodies in. And this is the little adjustment in the game. Trent's there now. He wants to play this inside Doku to Marmoush, get a 1-2 that we know Man City do all the time. So Boszai drops down and deals with that. Trent now only has one thing to worry about. That's the line. And when he does, they take Boszai off. Endo comes on, helps it. When he comes inside, no problem. Just slow him up because every time, as Joe alluded to, he's running into bodies. And Liverpool were excellent. City, a little bit too predictable.
And the other thing that you looked at as well was the difference in this game from last season to this season and how Liverpool approached it.
Yeah, and I think Liverpool's press was great, but I think when you look at the way that they play, this is last season, this is Rodri. I know everyone talks about Rodri, but I just want you to take a look at Phil Foden, Alvarez. Look, everyone's between the lines. This is completely different to what we saw today. But look at the tempo, look at the rhythm of the passing. Boom, boom. It's really quick. It's really, even when they go slow, it's still 2 touch, 1 touch. Now they're through. Now they've got Haaland running at the back line. You're not seeing Virgil van Dijk walking. But this is today. This is what leads to the goal. Rico Lewis runs out wide, doesn't get the ball. As he stops here, Pep's the closest person to Savinho. He's blocking him off there. But every single Liverpool player is there. The pressing lines are great, but there's nothing for Rico Lewis to do. So as he comes back now, he can't have his normal pass there because he's seeing a red man in front of him. He's got a red man coming up his backside, and now he's panicking. Can't get out. They get out the other side. And it's just, the pressing lines for Liverpool were fantastic. But for Man City, and it's not nice to say because they've been so great, but people are hiding now. People are going and standing next to people. And this is why Pep's standing there and he's put...
But the other thing that Troy mentioned there is teams are being braver against City. Not just Liverpool, seeing other teams this season. But you do have to be brave to go man for man, don't you?
They're so much braver now. And we've all heard about the talking about Manchester United previously. Manchester City had it to an extent, beaten in the tunnel. Conversations before the game, take a 2-0 here and we'll get ourselves off and we'll focus on next week. Not anymore. People are going there with the belief they can get their heads down. I think that's a great point by Troy in terms of the pressing lines. Manchester City players of old, when they've been running the show and winning 4 Premier League titles, have looked up and they've had 2 or 3 options. They've always had the safety to go back because they've got a goalkeeper who's confident enough to play. Now they can't even go back. Rico Lewis didn't even have an option to go back to Ederson there. His head was scrambled and Liverpool looked so composed, took it off them and looked dangerous.
All smiles, a very happy dressing room. It's interesting, he said that before, we need more titles as the senior players.
Yes.
When you look at some of the great players who've played for Liverpool and not won the league, they've still only got 1.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it? When you have a history like Liverpool have, and you're always trying to emulate the past, and if you go to Anfield, if you go to the training ground, there's pictures of the past all over the walls of the academies with ex-managers and ex-players lifting trophies, and that's all it is. Manchester City have been very, very dominant with a wonderful manager, and Liverpool have ran them close a couple of times and they've won other trophies. But the league is very important to the fans, very important, and they're getting very close to it now. But it's the sign of a good team that they have been consistent for the last few years, isn't it? Even though they haven't been able to catch Manchester City on a number of occasions, their consistency levels have been excellent, and the new managers came in, give them whatever he's give them, a little 5% extra, and they're absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, and is that the right message? Stay calm, keep ticking them off, keep winning these games?
It's boring, isn't it? But it's right. You know, it's the only thing you can do, I guess. You know, there's no point thinking of what's going to happen in 6-7 games' time. It's like, right, who's next? Start preparing, start recovering from this game, start preparing that. It is a bit Groundhog Day, but that's the life of a footballer. And of course, every game is different. You know, different challenges, home, away, in Europe, you know, in different cup competitions. So there's plenty to keep you stimulated, but it really is focus on the next one. Who is it? Right, let's prepare for it.
How do you stay sort of non-human, if you like, in the situation when you're going for a title and you've got a gap like they have and you can look at it tonight and think, wow, 11 points, or do you not look at it and don't think like that?
Well, unfortunately, I never had an 11-point gap when I won any of mine, but in regards to the focus, you just have to do your job, and like Mo was saying there, as long as you're doing that and focus on the next game and not get carried away and drawn on to what could be this season in terms of the league, the Champions League, the League Cup. You just have to focus on individual games. Like Mo said, it doesn't sound glamorous, but it's what's got them this far. So I'm sure that is the comments. And
there's no time to even think about it. You know, home today, preparation for Wednesday. You know, they'll be in. They're not having any days off where they can go out and think about things. They're in tomorrow. They're recovering, and then thankfully they're at Anfield, they don't have to travel, and they're playing a team who played earlier today in Newcastle, and their form's better and they're at home, so the crowds will be more excited now every time they play, particularly at Anfield. So that has to just take care of itself, really. The PSG game's next week, and then there's an international break in a couple of weeks. That's when you hopefully, if you're not gone on international duty, the manager will say, right, here's a few days off, get yourself to a beach or get yourself somewhere where you can have some downtime and recover.
And I think individually, you'd be lying if you didn't say you thought about the points gap and thought about winning the league. And, you know, when you're driving into training, your mind's wandering and you're thinking, right, if we beat them, we only need this. You do think about it in your own time, but you never discuss it amongst the lads. When you're in the dressing room, you don't say, hey, lads, we only need X amount of wins and things like that. That's almost put to the side. But I think when you're in your own time, then you do think about it as an
The fans are, aren't they? The fans are singing it
Exactly.
today, loud and proud, weren't they? And they feel that this weekend, even though we're still in February, this weekend is like the pivotal weekend. Arsenal lost, Forest have lost, you know, the top second, third and fourth all lost, and Liverpool have won. So the fact that they're 11 games in now to go and 11 points clear, everybody will be starting to think about it now, definitely.
Well, when you look at the fixtures, the figures of history, you can see why Liverpool fans are singing it, because when you look at this type of lead, at this type of stage of the season, after 27 games, there you go, 11 points or more, and each and every one of those teams have gone on to be champions.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a catastrophic end to the season for Liverpool if obviously they don't go on to collect it now. And Macca's right, this has been a huge pivotal weekend, but it wasn't meant to be in many ways, was it? You know, it's almost like Liverpool...
Well, Arsenal were hoping it was the other way around.
Exactly. Liverpool had the hard one. You know, that they had the hardest game. So you were thinking, as a Liverpool fan, I'm sure all Liverpool fans were thinking, if we can just keep them at arm's distance, we can match Arsenal's result, let's say, it would have been an amazing weekend. But to reverse it and to go 3 points further clear is magical. And as you say, look at that. I mean,
it's the teams chasing as well, Mo, isn't it? The teams chasing Liverpool are not playing well.
There's no form behind them.
There's no one coming on a mad charge who are playing well, who are full of confidence. Everybody's losing games. Everybody's losing and allowing Liverpool to just go further and further clear. So when Liverpool draw a game and have a blip, someone loses. You know, so no one's getting any closer to them. First, it could have been 5 points. In 24 hours, it's now 11. So, you know, you just feel as if the teams below are going to keep on dropping points.
Yeah, remarkably. All of the rest of the top four lost this weekend. Yeah. But Liverpool didn't. Curtis Jones, who's waiting to speak to us live at the Etihad Stadium. Macca is very excited here, Curtis. Well, you can see the big smile. Well done. How good does that feel to go to the Etihad, the home of the champions, and win like that?
Feels amazing, yeah, as everybody knows, you know, we've always came here, it's always been hard, but and today was again, you know, it was a hard game, but yeah, we came out on top, so I'm happy with that.
And the way you got those goals in the first half?
Yeah, we always knew it was going to be a hard game and going to have all the ball, but our plan was, you know, it was all about here. Of course, it was going to be hard, but any chance that we get, you know, we have to go and break and we have to go and score. And that's what we've done.
Curtis, well played today. Just looking at that first goal, we were sort of discussing, was it you that was supposed to be on the end of that, or was it always meant for Mo Salah? We just heard an interview between Dominic Szoboszlai and Mo Salah, and they were joking whether it wasn't planned quite like that.
Nah, it was planned like that, but in training is like we basically done the same thing, but then Mo's touch was bad. So then it fell into me at the edge, and then I scored. So then I was telling Mo, I was like, Mo, look, just do the exact same thing. But yeah, I mean, fell to him there and he went and scored. So I'm happy. That's fine.
Brilliant.
And Curtis, it's Macca. So unfortunate for your goal. Did you have a feeling that Dominic may have been offside?
Yeah, just a touch, you know. That's why I weren't really going mad, or you didn't see a knee slide, anything like that. I was half just calm. But yeah, it's one of them things, you know. It's important that it's all about the team. Yeah, it would have been nice if I had the goal, but it's fine. We still won.
Oh, you still made the run, mate. It was a great run. So you know you were there just in case.
Because I'm playing as a 9. That's what I do.
Exactly. You're like the under-18s and the 21s. You're goal scoring now. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so, but at the same time, you know, I'd like to score even more and assist even more. But you know, it's one of them games that I didn't really have the ball a lot, so it was more about I had to press right, I had to get back and help, and if I had the chance to score a goal, you know, I knew I was always going to be there at the end of it, and yeah, that's what I tried. But unfortunately, it was offside. But again, as I said, the important thing is that we came away with a huge win.
Curtis, when Liverpool won the Premier League title, I think you were involved 6 times that season. You were in and around the squad that was successful. This time you're a far more integral player. Did you get that similar feeling? Different manager, same dressing room?
Yeah, I mean, the feeling that is all the same. But on the personal point, yeah, I'm just happy that I've helped more. Of course, I'm a lad who wants to be involved in all sorts. I want to help with goals, want to help with assists. I want to play all the games. If it's a cup games, the Champions League game. If it's the Prem game as well. And the first time that we won, of course, I was glad, but I didn't feel that I played a huge part. Now, I'm involved even more and playing more games. I've helped with goals and assists, so that's the important thing, I think.
Curtis, it's Julian. I see you obviously enjoying your football this season. What's been the biggest factor for that change in previous years?
I think the biggest thing is trust. Trust. You see the games here that I've played. I don't play as a 9, but he's used me there as a 9 ball, a 9.5, a 10 kinda. And that just shows the trust. He sees me train every day. Of course, fans always want all the goals and all the assists, but unfortunately, I'm around lads who take all the goals and the assists, which is fine as well. But I'm a big part of the team. Helping in different ways. I'm comfy on the ball. That's being a big thing of mine. So it's about just using that in the right way, and then having the trust of the manager and the rest of his staff, and of course then the lads as well around. They speak to me now as being more of a man and not a kid around the team. So yeah, as I said there, I think it's all about the trust.
And just finally, Curtis, what a weekend. Arsenal losing yesterday, you winning at the Etihad today, and you're finishing at 11 points clear at the top of the table.
Yeah, it's a great week, but it's just these games as it comes. We just have to win all of our games, and then we'll be fine. If teams around us drop points and lose games and draw, then that's with them. But our thought and our mind is just win every single game, and we go out there, we run, we don't think, we've kind of got games spared, and we've got points to play with. It's never that. It's just each game as it comes. We just take care of it. That is hold the team. At the end of the game, there, Virgil just spoke as well and just basically said the same thing. It's just each game as it comes, and just make sure that we win all of our games, then we'll be fine. So every game as it comes, and you'll see at the end of the season.
Certainly will. Very well played today. Thanks again for joining us.
Take care.
Congratulations.
Well done, Curtis Jones, live at the Etihad. Speaking very well, and you were mentioning, joking there, he's under 18. You've seen his come through the... A lot was made about Liverpool not making many signings, but he's almost like a new signing. The regularity he's been featuring under Arne Slot, perhaps compared to the last couple of years under Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, people get obsessed with new signings, don't they? It's like we need to buy more players, but I think the coaching staff and Arne Slot, and certainly the sporting directors and everybody concerned at Liverpool, involved at Liverpool, knew they didn't need much. They didn't need much. They knew that Gravenberch was a year older at Liverpool, Gakpo was the same, Endo was the same. So they knew they were getting better. And then you've got Curtis and Harvey Elliott, who have been on the periphery but are now older, more wise, more experienced, and can do a great job. So it's actually very clever. You don't need to bulk up a squad otherwise, if you have too many players, i.e. like a Chelsea, it just gets in the way. Liverpool have got a real streamlined squad, and everybody who comes in has an impact. And you see the bench today. They've been stacked on the bench, but also they've stayed clear of injuries, and that you have to give credit to Arne Slot with his medical science people around him, because he trusts them and he listens to them, and that's really helped them going forward. Everybody who comes on does slots into the team, pardon the pun, seamlessly. Don't the Endo's come on and done a great job, doesn't moan. There's no negativity that comes out of Liverpool. If you're not playing, nobody's moaning. They're just all in it together and they're all just rolling forward. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, Arne Slot brought his director of medicine specifically with him
he did,
from Holland. And it's interesting to hear Curtis saying the difference this season, to Jolien's question, is the trust. That, to be trusted in a game like that, away at the champions today, with Gakpo on the bench and Nunes and Jota on the bench.
Yeah, and with trust comes confidence. If you feel the trust of your manager, it gives you confidence. If you feel the trust of the fans and your fellow players, it gives you confidence. They give you the ball in tight situations because they trust you, because they see you on the training ground. So, the only way that's going to come is for you to show them your ability, your mentality every day in the training ground. And with that, then, it's reciprocated. And yeah, he's getting shown that trust, that confidence, and his game is blossoming for it.
And we've seen it with City and Phil Foden, what it means to a local boy, a fan of the club, to come through and become virtually a senior player.
Yeah, I think all of us are fans of football, and your ambition is to win titles, but to do it with your homegrown team, it will be extra special for him. And as I said, his family is very passionate about Liverpool as a city in general, but regarding this opportunity to go on and go down in one of the greatest seasons in their recent history, with the potential of Champions League as well. So, and like he said, it's important to him that he's playing a pivotal role, not just a bit part player this season. He can contribute in a number of some roles.
Right, we've heard his version when you asked him of the corner routine. We've heard Szoboszlai and Mo Salah as well. Let's have another look at it.
Yeah.
What do we think? Where do you think Curtis Jones was involved in this?
Well, I can totally understand, because this is not an easy layoff from Szoboszlai. It's coming at him quite quick, and obviously you've got to do these things fast. But I think the plan is for it to go to Mo Salah, but I can totally understand that in training he might have got a bit too much on the layoff, and it went to Curtis Jones. You can see Curtis Jones just by the referee there. So if the ball was a little bit straighter, if he got a little bit more on it, then he would have been there and striking it. But as it happens, he only got a little bit on it, didn't he? Yeah, it was perfect, and it just shaved across a couple of the Man City players. Rico Lewis nearly got it there, see. But I think that was absolutely planned. This is a great angle. You can see Robertson, the front post, pinning his man. The three players along the 6-yard box, pinning their man. It's really well worked.
Yeah, the timing of it is impeccable. The way that Virgil just walks in slow and then all pick up the pace as soon as Alistair is running towards the ball. But I think Curtis is there more of a safety net. Like Mo said, if he overhits the cutback, he's there to tap it in, and his angle on the right foot would have been equally as important as Mo's with his left.
Yeah, covered both bases there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because it was a hard layoff, isn't it?
It was, and it worked. I mean, you couldn't have worked it any better, could have you? Because Szoboszlai's touch was lovely. Mo didn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to. He's not leaning back. He gets over the ball. I mean, they get a bit of fortune with the deflection, but it worked perfectly well.
Yeah, and you heard him speaking there. He's hit 30 goals in all competitions, 5th time in his Liverpool career. I mean, you can appreciate those numbers. You can appreciate how difficult it is to get to those consistent numbers.
It's incredible. Consistency is unbelievable. I mean, yeah. What can you say about the lad? I mean, he's just a total machine. I mean, he never ever gets injured. He's got a great attitude. Never hear a peep out of him. Of course, obviously, this contract situation is another thing. But in terms of playing, it's just been year after year after year, a constant source of goals. You know that he's, send him out there and he's virtually going to score in every game. It is quite incredible. And we joke about it. It is the hardest thing in football to score goals. And to do it consistently like he does, it's beyond, there's only a handful of people that can ever do it, let alone, can do it now. So, yeah, hats off to him. It's quite incredible.
His dedication to his job as well is really important. People speak about Cristiano Ronaldo, how he looks after himself, and Cristiano's a bit more in the public eye, doesn't he? The Mo is very reserved, and quiet and humble, and stays out of the limelight. But his dedication to the sport and how he looks after himself and what he eats and what he puts in his body and how he recovers is really important to Liverpool, because all the young lads are looking up to him, because he's an elder statesman now, him and Virgil, and they've got these people to look up to, and they could be playing at 37, 38, 39. So they're teaching everybody below them the right lessons, how to really do well in this sport.
Yeah, and he just needs one more goal, and he'll be in the top 3 of all-time Liverpool Football Club goal scorers. Now, our statistical department has been having a look at projected numbers here for Mo Salah this season. He's on 25 goals in the Premier League, projected to get 35, which would just be one short of Erling Haaland's record. Well, you can take the assists and the goal assists away from me, Michael. You're far more over that than I am. But he's on course, they think, to break the assists record and indeed the assists and goals combined record.
Yeah. Let's hope he doesn't get injured then, because that'll be worthless, won't it? But yeah, I mean, it
depends. It's going to depend on
exactly,
what stage of the season, and if they're in the Champions League, and if they already sewn up the league, do you then rest him?
Do you start resting him?
All the best trying to do that when he's going for all those records.
I think it's more important to him that he gets all the trophies than the personal accolades, especially if it's 35 goals and someone's done it. I think he would rather be fit for the Champions League and get 30 goals than risk being injured. So, as I said, they're a great opportunity for him to etch his history, his bit in history, but I'm sure he's focused on the trophies.
And when he signed, if you'd said Mo Salah's going to be, in 8 seasons, in the top 3 Liverpool all-time record goal scorers, I mean...
If you'd said in the top 103, I wouldn't have probably believed you. I mean, genuinely, he wasn't a goal... You know, he was a really poor finisher at Chelsea, you know, at Basel before he came.
Roma.
At Roma, he started showing signs of scoring goals, which was unbelievable. But, I mean, you could argue that it might have been a flash in the pan. You know, for the cynics, they might have said, well, I've seen him before. Doesn't really look like a goal scorer to me. So he did show signs and then obviously hit the ground running. But even then, after 1 year, people were thinking that was just a one-off. He can't do that again. And he has done it and done it and done it and done it and done it.
Particularly when he plays as well, doesn't he? He's not, you know, you have to remember, he's not a number 9.
Same as right. His best season for Roma was 19.
Yeah.
He hadn't even scored 20 goals for Roma when Liverpool signed him.
No. I mean, Liverpool tried to get him from Basel, didn't he, before Chelsea got him? So Liverpool have always been interested in him. So they've always saw something in him. But I don't think anybody, as a right winger, and that's what he is. He's a right winger, but he plays centrally. Could envisage what he's done in this time he's been at Liverpool. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal numbers. Considering there's so many other great centre forwards around them, Liverpool have got 6 really good forwards. So the fact that he's still dominating all those records, you know, when Firmino, when Mane was here, he was the one still dominating the numbers, and he's continued to do so. It's exemplary,
Yeah, and he had a nice little hand in Szoboszlai's goal as well. And you praised Curtis Jones here because he kind of got out of the way, didn't he, to make sure that he wasn't in the goalkeeper's line.
Yeah, that was the only danger. As soon as the ball went in, I thought, Curtis Jones in an offside position there. If he's in the line of sight of the goalkeeper, it might be disallowed, but you can see he knows it himself. He puts his arms out as if to say, nothing to do with anything here, and he wasn't in the line of sight of the goalkeeper. So, yeah, but Mo Salah, good timing, good pace on the pass. Szoboszlai lets it come across his body, keeps it hard and low, and this is the angle where we see that Curtis Jones is not in line with the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper gets a perfectly good sight of it, and it's a fair goal.
He had a really good game, actually, Szoboszlai, didn't he? He had a goal and an assist. He nearly had another assist for Curtis Jones, but he was just slightly offside. But his energy levels were good. He's a very good runner, as we know. And there's no surprise that he was shattered at the end of the game when he said he was really tired. But I thought he had a really good game today. Very dedicated to the role, very organised. But when he wanted, he broke forward a lot.
And defensively, how mentally tiring is that in your City? And we saw them at the end, even 4 or 5. Powering forward on the break.
Yeah, it's very rare they waste runs, especially Mo Salah. I think we all give him credit for his finishing, his assist, his set-up play, but in terms of his timing of his runs and his willingness to do it, and he doesn't waste them. He doesn't think, I'm just going to create space for someone else. He goes with the determination to get in and then contribute when he's there. So I think that's another factor to his game that is probably unnoticed because he scores so many goals.
Yeah, interesting from Arne Slot and the hard work. Obviously, he alluded to 2 or 3 times. Also, in his press conference, going back to the free kick that he was talking about, and we've shown you there, he has named Aaron Briggs for all the credits. Now, Aaron Briggs is an individual first-team development coach with Liverpool, who, Julian, you know, used to work for 9 years at Manchester City.
Yeah, someone I've worked with as well, working at the club. Someone who's passionate about developing players, and then bespoke his dedication to set pieces and has worked in Germany and France. So it doesn't surprise me that the attention to detail he's been given that responsibility because that's something he specialises in.
It was his idea to utilise that space for the first goal. Right, let's look at the fixtures remaining because we've worked out obviously that Arsenal would need Liverpool, as well as winning all their games, to lose 4 of their remaining 11 games. And let me tell you, in the Premier League, Liverpool have lost 5 of their last 76 Premier League games. So I think that gives you the size of the dream for Arsenal.
And also, Liverpool have got 4 away games and 7 at Anfield, including Arsenal. 7 at Anfield.
Yeah, but everyone was talking about that Arsenal game being pivotal in May. It could all be over by then.
Yeah. But they got them at home as well, which will help if it does get that close. But the fact that Liverpool got 7 home games and 4 away, again, that's a big plus point for them as well, isn't it, when you look at it?
I'm taking that to see if Arsenal win all their remaining games.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, I don't think that's a realistic goal or aim for Arsenal. So it's more likely they do that than Liverpool lose 4. But I don't see Liverpool losing.
Arsenal's
4.
next 3 are really difficult on paper when you look at it, don't you? 2 away games and then Chelsea. So, it's a big... This is another big week ahead, isn't it? They have to go from one game to the other straight away. So, we'll wait and see. But, Liverpool, it looks really, really positive.
What a position. It's not the hardest run-in for Liverpool either.
Look at that and the numbers. What a position they're in still in February.
Yeah, no, this weekend, as we've mentioned it before, it was really pivotal. I mean, it could have been 5 points, and with the 2 teams, Arsenal and Liverpool, playing each other, all of a sudden you think, wow. I mean, if the results had gone the other way this weekend, if Arsenal had beat West Ham and Liverpool had lost, it would have been in Arsenal's hands. Yes. 5 points, and they were playing each other. I mean, incredible how it can sort of turn around so quickly. So it would have. It's been a pivotal weekend, and I think we will look back and say this was the final nail in the coffin, really. For Liverpool winning the Premier League this season. Big weekend.
Well, he's coming up fighting. Pep Guardiola, most defeats ever in any of his managerial seasons. They've lost 14 of 27 games. They lost 14 of the previous 154. That is so much the uncharted territory we're in. But you've heard him there talking about the new Man City and the bright future.
Yeah, you would like to think so, that he's developing players and getting them mentally and physically prepared for posing a title challenge next season. And this is probably the opportunity to do that. Mentally, you can learn a lot about yourself and your team. When times are hard, I think it's easier to just keep going when you're winning things. And as you said, you probably don't learn as much about yourself. But in regards to today's performance and this week, like I said, they haven't... I think in the past when they've lost games, teams have been slightly lucky. That hasn't been the case against Real Madrid and Liverpool. They deservedly won both games or lost both games and haven't looked in control. I know they have a lot of possession, but like Pep said, they get into the byline, and I don't think enough players recognise that Doku had the better of Trent and gambled enough early on to kind of pose a threat for them, Kane and Van Dijk. So I think there's still elements to the game they're still short on.
Well, no wonder there's a smile on his face. It's a brilliant weekend at the start of a brilliant Liverpool career in his first season, and it's going so well for them. And they won that comfortably, didn't they? Let's be honest.
I didn't see it coming. I expected a little bit more from Man City. I thought they, at home, would show a bit of pride, wouldn't want to get beat, whether it's Liverpool, Arsenal, whoever. I expected a little bit more fight. There was periods in the second half where Liverpool were just in total control of the game, and they never looked like getting back into the game, Man City. They were pretty dominant, Liverpool.
What do you think, Leon?
Yeah, I slightly disagree with, and I actually did see that coming. Yeah. I know Manchester City are the champions, but they fell so far from the standards that they were at, and they are very much a team in transition. They're trying to bring signings in. They've lost a couple of players, important players. They're not at the level that we've seen them in the past, and that game, unfortunately, wasn't as big a contest as we've always seen it be in the past.
Maybe
Liverpool,
if Haaland had been available, we would have had a different attitude going into it as to what City might have done.
Yeah, maybe, but I think even with or without Haaland at the moment, I think Liverpool are the outstanding team, certainly in the Premier League, maybe across Europe. There's not that many that challenge them at the moment. So I expected Liverpool to win the game. I thought it was far too comfortable. I did expect City to give a bit more of a challenge, but yeah, it was a very good weekend for Liverpool.
Do you think City looked a bit demoralised after what happened in the week at Madrid, where they were absolutely outplayed?
Not just that. I think they've been like this all season in terms of, well, not all season, but the last 3 or 4 months especially, they've looked fragile. Pep's interview afterwards where he's trying to praise his players and saying they played well. It's going to take a little bit of time for the new signings, and there'll be more in the summer. I'm pretty sure you might see a big exodus. Some of the star names might move on. And then you might see a younger brigade, people like Florian Wirtz, who's playing really well at Leverkusen, etc.
I just think if you had a conversation with Pep and you sat down and you said, listen, you'll finish in the top 5 with the coefficient being strong and you finish in Champions League football, would you end the season today? Because he's gone under a lot of stress, his players are. It's not been the typical City team that we've seen over the years. I think you bite your hand off. And I think they need a reset and they'll get that in the summer. But this season has looked a little bit doomed the last couple of weeks, months.
Very clever opening goal from Liverpool, wasn't it? Because it's something they clearly worked on.
Brilliant. You know, it's one thing to be able to score open play goals and be as effective as Liverpool have been all season, but if you've also got this clever nature, the ability to spot opportunities. I mean, the way they work this, Robertson blocks, force Szoboszlai to come round, to leave it in that space, and it's Mo Salah that gets on the end of it, whether that was originally for Salah or even Curtis Jones. You see
how's he unmarked there, Leon?
Yeah, you see the space he had, but I don't understand how he's unmarked. But Liverpool's 3, they just run the defenders. And Man City's best headers of the ball are inside the 6-yard box. They're 3 or 4 yards from goals. So Liverpool defenders just run the rest in. You create space for somebody like that there.
Szoboszlai,
I mean, tactically, it's outstanding from Liverpool.
Brilliant.
But when Pep sees that back again, of all the players you want to leave free, it's Mo Salah. It's incredible how he's just standing still. He doesn't have to have good movement. It's very clever from Liverpool. It could have been him or Curtis Jones on the edge of the box, but Pep will be fuming.
First corner of the match. When you do something like that, is it easy to say, right, we're going to do it the first corner of the match? Otherwise, if the game goes on, you're thinking, hang on, which corner did we say we were going to do it from, and which side?
Mark,
You've got to do the first corner of the game.
I can remember one at Upton Park when Alan Pardew was the manager and he'd come out with like the 5th corner from the right-hand side. We're going to do this. 20 minutes in, I couldn't remember how many corners we had.
Yeah, you said to Stevie Lomas, how many we had down there?
He went, I don't know.
Yeah. And then the second goal, again, they've got so much time at the moment. They've got so much confidence, which means they've got so much time, and their decision-making is on point, isn't it? It's just perfect.
I actually thought tactically they did a job as well. They had Salah and Diaz either side. They had 2 false number 9s in Jones and Szoboszlai, and Manchester City didn't know who was running in behind. It was Salah this time. You've got, look, all 4 of those players inside City's penalty area. It's a lovely finish. Yes, it goes through the legs, but you just felt all afternoon that every time Liverpool went forward, they were capable of scoring a goal. I didn't get that feeling from Manchester City. And if you've got the outstanding goal scorer in the Premier League at the moment, it's no surprise.
And creative, that's the key, isn't it? So at the moment, 25 goals and 16 assists at the moment. This is what if he carries on at this rate, this is where he will get to.
Ballon d'Or
so
stuff.
Look down the bottom there. So the Premier League record at the moment in a 42-game season is Andy Cole and Alan Shearer at 47. He will beat that by 11 in 4 games fewer. I mean, he has had many brilliant seasons. This is his best. I think we can say that, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible to say that he's going to go and potentially beat Erling Haaland's goal tally, which we were saying is outstanding.
Unbeatable, we thought.
We think the assists tally, 20 in a season, Haaland and,
so it's not like
De Bruyne
it's not like he's a greedy striker.
No, to do it, both of them, in the one season, it's just
So his
ridiculous.
goals and his assists are worth 34 points to Liverpool. Now, they're a brilliant team, they're a well-rounded team, but quite clearly, he's the main man.
Can you drop that into Richard Hughes in the hierarchy at Liverpool? Because what are they waiting for?
Maybe.
What are they waiting for?
Maybe they're not waiting for anything. Maybe Salah is making them wait. Maybe Van Dijk is making them wait. We don't know.
But he's with them
that
numbers.
34 points says he is absolutely critical to this team.
It's outstanding, Mark, for a guy that I seen many a year ago at Fiorentina and Roma, who's hitting between 12 and 15, nowhere near these sort of numbers.
You would have never thought this, would you? Then?
No, I knew there was a player in there, but I wouldn't have never guessed there's a 20-goal a season man. Now he's been doing it for a lot of years consistently. Looks after himself, physically very fit, mentally very strong, plays the game every single week, whether he's being amazing or he's being really quiet and it's not his day, he still contributes. It's so valuable.
The question Liverpool have to ask themselves is, if they take him out of the team, will they still be able to somehow find the goals and the numbers? And I mean, he's dominated. He's involved in every attack, whether it be goals and assists. We're showing that they have a lot of quality.
You'd have to say no.
Exactly. You take him out. You take him out of that team, regardless of their quality players. Will they still be able to hit the heights? And the answer would seem to be no. In which case, it's the same for Van Dijk at the opposite end.
Well, that's the thing. So look, if you are a Liverpool fan and you think that the worst comes to worst and that they will both leave at the end of the season, the chances are they're going to leave as champions. Have a look at this. No one's ever had a lead like this with 11 games to go and not won the title. Not won it. So you know the number of you both know the number of a bus company in Liverpool. I think they can ring it up and book it, don't
book
you?
It, yeah.
For May the 26th.
Yeah. I think we'll look back at the end of the season when Liverpool are champions. We'll look back at the results of this weekend and Liverpool getting the result at Man City because it's still a great win for a Liverpool team that's not had loads of success in terms of wins over the years.
It's only one win there in a decade till today.
And I know it's a Man City team. I'm not at their pomp and they're a bit demoralised. And I know Liverpool were dominant today, but we'll look back at the end of the season.
Still have to win the game.
Of course I do.
Liverpool could lose 4 games from this moment, and the rest of the league would have to be flawless.
Which is not going to happen.
And they would still potentially win the league, and that's just not going to happen.
Well, there's absolutely no evidence that anybody else is even.
Tell you the only thing that's going to happen. Jurgen Klopp will be on the same bus as Arne Slot at the end of the season because that'll be something.
Get him on the bus. Get him on the bus. Get them all on the bus.